All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Pocket Change, episode 79. We're getting up there. This week, we are joined by a special guest, the Beard King Picker.
What's
So,
up, guys?
we were going to get a little bit of his backstory and find out what he's about. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Joel, how's it going?
It's going good. Glad to have our guest tonight. Or, excuse me, if you're listening this morning, this noon, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you're with us.
Welcome. Hey, bud. Do you want us to call you Beard or King, or what do you prefer?
Alex is
Sir?
fine, unless you want to call me Sir
All right,
Beardo.
Alex. Hey, Alex. You're new to the show.
Yeah.
I know you're on your own podcast. You got your own thing going, but our listeners might not have. We've been talking about you for the last 2 weeks because we're going to try to get you on here. So, you want to give us your backstory? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my backstory into reselling probably I started 6 or 7 years ago. Like anyone starting reselling should start by selling things around their house to learn the platform and just learn the basics of reselling, how to take pictures and list items and ship things correctly. I'm still learning that one, but getting better at it. So I started selling off my toy collection because I had way too many Spawn figurines. So I tattooed a lot of Spawn onto my leg, so I decided to let go of the toys. That's how I got into reselling, which was like a $75 investment into some lights for taking good pictures. And then I moved into, after doing that, the toys, I moved into Amazon, doing used books on Amazon part-time for about 2 years. And then after the 2 years of that, I moved to online arbitrage and went full-time with online arbitrage for Amazon. I had about 2 employees, virtual assistants that would actually do all my sourcing for me. They would send me the list in the morning, and I would go through the list of potential things to buy for OA. And then pretty much my whole job was just to look at it and say it's okay, swipe the credit card. And I had employees do all the other work for me. I did that full time with my wife for about 2 years, but I got bored of sitting at home doing all the sourcing at home because I like the treasure hunt aspect of going to yard sales and thrift stores of reselling. So I pulled the plug on Amazon and went back to eBay. I've been about a year full time on eBay now, and mostly niching down to books and now getting back into Amazon, doing books on Amazon as well. So eBay and Amazon, I'm mostly I would say 90% books now at this point.
So that's going to be interesting for our viewers because, and I know you watch our show a little bit too,
Mhm.
just like we watch yours, but it's going to be very interesting to hear your perspective on that because I am niching down. And of course, Ben's is doing this model where he's a little bit of everything. And we had Mike on, which I know Mike, and Mike
Mhm.
is an everything seller.
Yep.
So, what was the transition like to the niching? Has it been good? What's the advantages, disadvantages that you see? Because I'm very much interested in knowing about what's the proper protocol for niching down.
We'll start with disadvantages. When I go out sourcing, I see something profitable. It's hard not to still buy it because it's money, right? We should buy it.
Yeah.
But I still buy some things here and there. If it's vintage toys, that's what I started reselling was toys. So I still buy toys and things that I enjoy listing. So like toys, I'll list I know if I buy toys, I'm going to actually want to list them and take the pictures. But as far as space goes, when you're niching down, as far as books, I can fit thousands of books in my space. And the good thing about niching down is you only need about three. I got 2 different poly bags, bubble mailers, and different boxes for sets. So I don't need a ton of different boxes selling all these different shapes and sizes of products. So that's what I think. It's really streamlined. And I
Mm-hmm.
can list, when I'm listing books, I can list a lot really easy. I got up this morning and super easy, Bins. I just listed 100 in like an hour. So I don't know how you haven't hit that 100 listing yet.
Oh, I'm just saying, you know what? You guys are laughing, but this week I worked 5 days
I'm just
listing.
messing
I did
with you.
503 items.
He did hit the 100. He
I
did.
hit the 100. I actually hit
There you
142
go.
on one day.
I had to give you a
But
hard time. I list 20 or 10 items a day. That's
yeah,
it.
no, and I'm going back. That was insane. I
Yeah,
actually,
no way.
yeah, I was working like the one day that I hit 142, I worked like 18 hours. I just kept working. I'm like, you can do this. And then I took a break, watched a little TV, jumped in the pool, and then I came back in. I'm like, I'm gonna do more because I want to, But I'm going back to 25 a day,
There you go.
and then if I can list more than 25, I'm gonna push them out and try to get myself out 3 weeks, 25 a day, and then come back and list more on top.
Yeah.
But I was doing really simple stuff with barcodes. I want everything with a barcode going forward because you can just scan the barcode and then 40 come up and you're like, oh, that one's the one I want. Boop.
That's the same with books. If I'm listing books like I'm gated on Amazon to go to eBay and I just scan the barcode, I can list them super quick. When it comes
Mm,
to vintage and antique books, that's what I specialize in. There's a lot of research that goes into those. 10 a
you
day
go.
is like max. I did 20 a day, but then I think you could run the risk of getting burnt out if you list too much every day.
Hmm.
And I've
Yeah,
noticed even with the algorithm, if I list 20 or 15 a day for a couple days in a row, I can just go and start listing 5 a day after that, and it still pleases the algorithm, and I still get the sales.
it's good.
So that's what I've noticed. So I did 10 in it, 10 two times in a row in a day, and then I'll just list 5, and I'll still get good sales as long as I'm listing something every day.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm applying for jobs, and hopefully I get a job, or maybe I'll stay full time reseller, but
Yeah,
and do like triple my income.
Now
But
you are full time
uh,
reseller, right?
I have been two
yeah.
weeks. You are
I've been full time. I'm thinking probably 4 years, 3 to 4 years full time.
Wow.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Would you go back to a corporate position now, or
No, never. I mean, I'd
And I
rather
got
just lift or something and not have to deal with a boss or anything like that and on my own time. That's the good thing about reselling. You can make your work hours,
yeah.
especially for a family person. If you can make it work, you can take the time off to go on vacation. You could take the time off to spend with your children. And when they go to bed, you just got to start working. I usually work late at night when everyone's asleep after I do dinner for everyone and then start working.
That's cool, man. That's real cool. Yeah, I was on the trajectory. Like, I want to work 5 more years and pay off a bunch of stuff that I bought that I really didn't need, but I thought I needed at the time. So
Yeah.
my income down, need down.
Yeah.
So
The first 2 years of me reselling, that's all it was to get out of debt. I got debt
yeah,
free by doing reselling because all the money would just go to paying off the bills, got out of debt, cut off all the credit cards. I have really no bills at this point. So,
that's cool.
and at my business at right now, when I was doing online arbitrage, it was credit card based. Like we were spending 20 grand a month in credit card bills, which is stressful if it doesn't sell. It's very
Yeah,
stressful. eBay, it's all cash flow. If I don't have the cash, then I don't buy any more stuff.
cool. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to go through. I've been doing this 3 years,
Hmm.
and every dollar I've made because I didn't need it for my income, I put it back into inventory. Now I've got massive amounts of inventory. I need to get it listed. So that's my goal. Get everything listed
Didn't you say in your
and
last
sell it.
episode you had 2,000 items listed or
Right
something?
now I'm at 3,063.
Yeah, my store has never been over 1,000. I don't know
Yeah,
what's
I
the
hit the
story.
point
Hang on.
this week where I had to buy the next level store
Oh, okay.
and
because
you
I was at.
still not scratched the surface? Good
No,
God.
I haven't. I bought, yeah, and I've got a shit ton of books, but I don't know anything about books. And every time I look them up, they're worth $2.42. I got to get better
You
at
know,
that. I have a bunch of cookbooks, which I realize are not worth nothing.
percent of books are trash, right? It's
Yeah,
all about going through them and finding the gold in there. Or the $2 books, you can bundle them together. So if you have the same author, you can make bundles or the same genre. Say it's a fiction books, you can put all this together, fantasy or whatever, sci-fi, and make money that way on the lower end books. So
that's
So,
cool.
what are some things to look for if we're out? Like you said, you like being able to source, and we do too. Now, I don't go out. I look more online because my job prevents me, and Saturday's my only day to keep the
mhm.
wife happy. What are some things we need to look for on books if we're trying to source them, and what are things to stay away from?
Nora Robinson, I would stay away from her. Daniel Steele. These are just authors I know they're never worth any money at all. The mass produced, mass market produced books, I usually stay away from. You want to look when it comes to books, you're looking to like super niche down. I always use this as a example, like a book on birds. You don't want a book on birds. You want a book on birds with one wing that fly backwards. The more niche and the more weird the title, that's what you're looking for when it comes to books, anything strange like that. As far as Amazon sourcing, I have a program, so I just scan the barcode and it tells me if it's going to make me money or not on Amazon. When it comes to eBay, I'm looking for rare books, so I'm looking for history books, Christian books, occult books, any strange topic like that. Usually does really well, or just old leather bound books, like Easton Press Franklin Library is a good brand to look out for.
Mm, okay.
And those are all leather bound, higher
Mm.
end books.
Ah, good information.
But yeah, just like I said, the more niche the topic, it's probably going to be worth money on eBay. Or if a book on Amazon's worth money, but it's a first edition and it's signed, that's definitely going to go to eBay because that's something a collector is going to be looking for. The first edition. It doesn't
Okay.
matter on Amazon if it's the first edition or not. So I always keep the first editions or signed books. Actually, I just did a haul yesterday of 50 all signed books. There was a buyout from like a closing bookstore that had all the artists come in or the authors come in and sign the books. And then I bought all the books because they were going out of business. So just signed stuff. So that's what I lean towards on eBay, more the collector side of book selling.
Yeah. So on Amazon, what you're saying is it's just the book. They don't care anything, nothing special. It's just the same price for every book, basically.
Yeah,
Give you anything extra for that.
look, we got Rocky Top calling me. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah, so like Amazon's weird because there's just a stock photo on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
A book collector, at least me, because I'm a collector of books as well, I wouldn't buy a high end collectible book based on a stock photo. I want to see the condition.
Right.
eBay, that's
Yeah.
why it's better for specializing for collectors because you can take all the pictures of the book and the
Okay.
buyer will see the actual condition of the book. So definitely better for collectors to go on eBay.
Some things definitely to look out for there on that. And you know the nature of our show. We're doing this really just as to try to expand the reseller community and to try to help folks. When we're at different levels, Ben's been doing it longer than I have.
Hmm.
I've only been doing it. I crossed over my first year. You've of course been doing it full time for the last 4 years, so that's awesome. So that gives our listeners a whole different perspective on where I want to be. Now, Ben's, I don't know. He has the opportunity now to go full time, but he's still looking for a job. I would like to fire the boss. I would fire the boss tomorrow if I could. No offense, Devin.
I don't have a problem with corporate America, and I've been the boss. I
Hmm.
like to be the boss
That's
and
why
work
you
let
don't have
people
a
work for
problem.
me. And I like to be the good guy that helps them out and make sure that, hey, if you're going to be out sick, let's fill out your FMLA paperwork. And if you need this, I like to be helpful. And I think when I left the last company, 30 people were like, hey, put my number in your phone. If you end up somewhere, I want to come work for you. So I and I don't mind the regimented daily tasks and make sure you get everything done. And you get 15,000 orders, you got to get them out that day. It's exciting to me. So,
Why don't you just be the boss of your reselling business? You can hire a lister. If you don't want to source, you can hire someone to go source for you.
and I did. I looked at that. I looked at renting a building here and trying that, but the
Hmm.
cost. Florida's not the place to right now. Anything that's it's $12 a square foot per month. It's just a lot of money to rent a building. So maybe I'll get to that at some point, and I don't mind doing the work either. So
Hmm.
right now, what I really I got 5 years. I just things that I bought, and in the next 5 years, I really need more income. I can probably make it on here. I'm just not ready.
Yeah.
But that's me. I went for, health insurance. That's my biggest problem. I applied today to Starbucks because free health insurance, and I'll work there part time, 20 hours a week, and I'll get my free health insurance.
Yeah. I
Because I
think
looked at health insurance, buying health insurance for yourself is freaking insane. So,
yeah, that's probably the biggest obstacle being full time reseller if you don't is health insurance. I'm in a
mhm.
position. My wife has a good job. She has good insurance, so I'm covered there with insurance.
Yeah, my wife has a great job. The same insurance she pays like $120 a check for could cost me an extra $500 a check out of her checks. So
Hmm.
if I can go to Starbucks and work, get free health insurance and a
Do you
free
get
pound of coffee a
yeah?
month.
Do you get free coffee? That's
Yeah, you get a free pound of coffee a month, and I think you can get whatever you want to drink when you're there. So yeah,
sounds like
I'm
a
a big
deal.
drinker. So that
No,
sounds like a good deal.
see,
Free, and the health insurance there is totally free. They don't even charge you out of your check. It just comes with the job.
Wow.
this is not something we normally discuss, and I think it's great because I think anybody listening to this program and the program you're on, Alex, and many others like it. I started this just like everybody else. I think we all aspire to be where you're at, but we do need to talk about these obstacles because health insurance is an obstacle. It can be because here's the thing: if you're a full time reseller and all of a sudden you're sick,
Yeah.
and you're not being able to list anything or you're not being able to do it, it kills your business. That's an obstacle to think about. That's something you need to be and need to add that additional amount to your income when you say, okay, I've replaced my income now. Wait a minute. Have you factored in additional stuff like health insurance? Interesting. Another thing that I'm real worried about and concerned about, because my wife being an accountant, I'm hounded with it all the time, is taxation. Have you found other ways and easy ways to deal with the tax and stuff and everything that occurs for being a full-time business owner? Because that's what you are. You own your own business.
Yeah.
We're not tax accountants.
Yeah, I'm not shouldn't even probably really speak on that. I have someone do my taxes for me. We were
Right.
an LLC for when I was doing online arbitrage. I had an LLC to protect because I owned a house at the time. I was selling a lot of toys, so you have the choking hazard and all these things. Actually dropped the LLC because it was created in California at the time. I'm not in California anymore, but it cost you $800 a year in California just to have an LLC. It
Wow, that's a lot.
doesn't really make sense. I'm not really too worried just selling used books that what is someone going to drop it on their toe and break their toe and sue me. If they do sue me, they're apparently from California where they're sue happy.
Yeah,
It could possibly still happen, but I have dropped the LLC right now. I'm not a home owner at the moment, so not too worried about that. There's not too much they're going to take from me. My cars.
But you do say you. I did hear you say that you have somebody else doing your taxes for you. So
Yes.
are you keeping? Because Ben's not different on records. Ben's buys a lot in yard sales and stuff like that. So it's a little harder, in my opinion, to keep up with that. Whereas I set up my wife drew up spreadsheets, very confusing. I've actually created another one, and she's building off the back end of it because I buy a lot of stuff online, and so it's easy for them to come in and say, "Oh, here's what you bought. Here's how much you paid for it. Now you're saying you sold it for this. That's this." So I'm trying my best to keep up with that. Do you find that to be as tedious as I do? Because I of course have somebody else doing my taxes too. My wife puts it all together and then we send it off.
Yeah, my wife puts it all together too. I'm supposed to monthly. I'm supposed to go in and write down what I spent and what I made, and I don't do it. I wait till the last moment and say, "Hey, wife, these need to be sent in." So
yeah,
she goes through 12 months of bank statements, cost of
yeah,
goods, what we got paid. So it's money in, money out. It's very simple. Where I do most of my sourcing now, it's all on a business card. So it's all in the
yeah,
bank account so I can see it really easy. If I go yard selling, then say I take out $100 that day, I'm just going to minus $100 for cost
yeah,
of goods. I don't put the 100 back. I just spend it until it's gone. But I'm doing most of my sourcing at thrift store, so it's all in my bank statement what my cost of goods are.
Okay,
yeah. That's how I'm doing
easier,
mine.
So I
I
makes it
think
do
that's
easier
the
to
the
keep up with.
easiest way to do it is money in, money
yeah,
out.
money in, money out.
My wife has made the spreadsheets where it's super easy for me to do it. I never do it. I, I know there's a program, what is for resellers that they came out with. I was planning on maybe doing it the first of the year.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try
Reseller,
that the first
yeah,
year.
Really? Wait a minute.
my reseller
What's that?
Genie.
Reseller.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have a
reseller
code, but
genie. I think that's the one I'm going to try.
I
Did
think
you
Code
said
Soda City Flips might have one. Shane might have a code. I don't have a code.
my reseller genie? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
and
Yeah.
they're connected to your eBay store and Amazon. They do work with Amazon too. So they'll have the money in and money out on Amazon. They
There
have
was
a
actually.
gas calculator, I think, for miles or a mile calculator. In California, they didn't even count that anymore, but they will here in Tennessee.
There you go.
So I think I'm going to start that at the first of the year and try to stay up on it so my wife doesn't wring my neck every tax season and where she's got to go through 12 months of bank statements. So
I get that too. Yeah, and that's the thing. And so that's a good resource. And see, that's part of the reason why it's good to get together and do these kind of things. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, he just gave a huge tool right there. I didn't know anything about it. My reseller genie, I'm gonna go check it out and see what it's like because again, I'm finding
Just tell him he needs to go to a meetup and he'll learn about these things.
yeah,
So
that is true.
they were a sponsor at the 127 picking the plateau. If you'd went,
there's
I got your ticket.
Yep.
but there's the problem. There's the problem that a lot of us face, and I'm at that point where it's called PTO, and you have to put in for it. You have to get it all scheduled. You have to make sure you've got enough, and it's a nightmare. And that's why I would love to get to it. I will go to every one once I get set free. I get
Yeah.
paroled every weekend right now. That's my parole time.
So Let's do our regular segments. If you have anything, and that'd be
Sure.
great. So, but how'd you do this week?
This week was a little was not a great week for me. I've continued listing, but for some reason now, I will say this: the items you again, you only sell what you list. When you're listing, and get back to this, ladies and gentlemen. I know it sounds corny, but what I noticed was if I list necklaces, I'm going to sell necklaces, even if it's not the ones I listed. If I list cups, for some reason I'm selling cups. I don't know why. It's something to do with the way eBay does it. And so this week I sold 3 items, a low dollar, so I only made around $40. But again, my total cost on those items was really adding them all together. 2 items I didn't even figure in when I priced out the lot. So I really only got about $4 in the whole 3 items that I sold. I can't say anything about making $45 on 3 items that I've got $4 in. But it would
Yeah,
have been nicer to have had a lot more sales and that kind of thing. But so it was not as good as last week, but probably my profit margin was a lot bigger.
yeah, that's good. Do you have a good week? Yes or no?
It's been a
What's your average week of sales? I'm
my
talking about
my,
specific.
my weekend right now. Because I'm looking at my account. I have 19 sales for the last 2 days, so I could tell you that's around $600-700. I'm not sure what it's at. And
Wow.
if it's 19 sales, I don't pay more than a dollar. I got $19 wrapped up into
Nice.
six
That's the
seven
way to
hundred.
go. Yeah, I keep
So
trying to explain to him that 3 times your money is wasting your time. So I had a pretty good week. I didn't have a great week. I did have a great week for me. I ended up with $900 in sales this week.
we break up.
And then if I take out all my fees and my cost of goods sold, I'm bringing home $550.
Yeah,
I'm good with that, right? There's a lot of small stuff. I ended up selling 34 things this week, which is way up for what I normally do. But I ended up listing a bunch of like $5 sockets, and I sold a bunch of them. My average sale this week was like $19.40.
yeah. I'm see.
So,
I'm sourcing. I have all Goodwill bins at this point, so I'm
uh-huh.
sourcing by the pound. So I'm paying 59 cents per pound for books. If the book is over $5, I pay $2. So that's like the most I'll ever pay for a book is $2. So that's why I sell and niche down to books because, in my opinion, the ROI in books it can't be beat by any other category on eBay or Amazon.
Yeah,
Because I've
no,
sold
that's
everything
good.
on Amazon, Nikes, Legos, all the top brands, and nothing compares to books. The ROI on it.
It's good to know. Yeah, I need to look at books.
Even
I
even
never.
when you go to a yard sale, like I used to source a lot of yard sales or online auctions. When I go to a yard sale and they have boxes of books, most resellers don't pay attention. You could be late to the yard sale. The books, they're still going to be there for the most point. I'll offer them $20, $10. If there's 10 boxes, I'll just offer them $10 to $20 and take all the books because they just want them gone. No one wants to lift the heavy books. They don't want to
Yeah,
donate them. They don't want to take the time. So I can usually buy in bulk that way at yard sales too. So I know I only have since wrapped up in every book. All I need, like when we were at the 127, I don't know, I did that big book buy there.
yeah,
I scanned one book. It was a $400 book. So I knew I could spend $400 and buy all their books. And
yeah.
I ended up paying $250 for 4 tubs of gaming books. And I'm already know I'm going to make my money back because I already see the profit in one of those books. Bulk buys, I only need to find one item that will pay for everything. And then I know what I can spend. If you have the opportunity to buy in bulk, I would always buy in bulk if you can.
That's interesting because Ben's just picked up 2 gaming books,
Mm-hmm.
and we did on our pick or pass just recently, and I was like, oh, I'd pass on that. Man, what an idiot I would if I'd come across him. I would have been because he had I think like 50 cents in them,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah,
worth like 20, 30 bucks a piece.
and they're sold. They sold this week. I listed them for 24.95 for the
Yeah.
pair, and
That's
as soon as I listed them, they sold. I probably under sold them, but I had 50 cents or a dollar in it total for the two of them, and I got $25 plus shipping.
yeah. So if you're even if you don't even look them up, you're going to risk 50 cents.
Yeah,
Who cares? It's 50 cents.
exactly.
Every book I send to Amazon doesn't sell, but I only need to sell one or two to make up for the ones that didn't sell. The cost that I
So,
have
like,
extra.
after you send the book to Amazon, do you ever get it sent back to you, or you just tell them to if it doesn't sell?
I can get them sent back to me, and then I can look them up and see if I can recoup some of the money on eBay. The
Okay.
problem with it, they're going to charge me $2 for a book. I used to always have them sent back to me. At this point, I set a repricer that keeps me in the buy box. And if it
Okay.
go, I'll actually set it to -$2. I rather them just sell the book instead of me getting it back and
That's
having
a
to
good
look
one.
it up on eBay. Just move on. Guess you turn and burn them, right?
Good plan.
So
Good plan.
All right, so we talked about our weeks. What's next?
What's your best sale of the week? Your favorite sale of the week?
Ah,
let me
that's a
see
good
here.
question.
Well, you should have this stuff.
I don't.
Hey, it's okay. We do the same segment on the Reseller podcast. I'm never ready on any of them. So,
We aren't ever
and it's
either.
been a year of doing it.
My favorite sale of the week this week was I sold some more of those vintage postcards. I got like 12 of them. I got a penny in them, and I'm selling for $10. I sold 2 packs of them this week. I just love taking 12 cents and turning it into $10. It's not my biggest sale of the week at all, but
Mhm.
I'm finally selling them. I had taken them and looked them up, and I was trying to sell some individually, and you know what? I just finally took them all and just made them packs of 12. So they were. So I made $20 off of that, and it's all profit at this point.
That's
Plus
cool.
shipping.
I got one right here that I'll. This just sold over the weekend. It's a vintage CKY VHS.
Mm-hmm.
No one pays attention to VHS. I bought two of these. One sold for $24, but this edition I just sold it for $75
Wow.
plus shipping. It weighs nothing, so it's like a quarter that I got this for, probably 75. So look out
75.
for Bam Argent. Bam is from Jackass, so
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
what he did before Jackass.
Nice.
Ben's pays a lot of attention to VHS. He loves VHS. I have always passed on them.
Exactly, like at the bins, everyone ran to. There was a whole media thing they brought out. All the
Mm-hmm.
resellers, they're just looking for barcodes to scan on
Yeah.
CDs and DVDs. There's all this vintage VHS. I just started grabbing the VHS. It was all snowboarding and skating stuff, right? I do well with the old skateboard stuff,
Old
and like
skateboard stuff.
when it comes to VHSs, you want to look for cult classic movies, like B horror movies always do really well.
Yeah.
So if you can find anything like that, or even some weird sci-fi stuff, it's the same with books though. Just whatever obscure title is probably gonna be worth more money than say a popular movie.
Hmm.
Makes sense.
My favorite sale of the week was a vintage pocket watch chain that I sold. I had nothing in it. It was in a lot with some stuff that I had, and I ended up selling it for $11.99 was what it sold for. The guy was great. It was great communication. I sent him a message, told him to ship. He responded. So great buyer, but just a great sale. Because again, I had nothing in it, and I ended up after selling and everything, I ended up actually making. I'm looking at the view order details right now. I ended up making 1203. So I actually made 4 cents more than I originally had listed it for. Hey, anytime you make more than you listed, that's great. The thing about eBay is I list everything pretty much at 5 ounces unless it's like way like all that stuff like that is just lightweight. I just list it at 5 ounces. Let it go at 5 ounces. A lot of times it comes out at four. So when I check it out and go four, I'll make a few dollars there.
Mhm.
But I also give back. I've got it set to give the what is it, the 10 or 15% off on the shipping.
Yeah.
So it all comes out in a wash, and I'll usually make a couple cents off of it. And that's where it came out in a wash. I ended up making 4 extra cents. Hey, but that was probably my best sell of the week. 100% profit and just a great guy to deal with.
Cool. I always like everyone knows that I like making money off shipping. So all my books, even if it's a pound, it's going to be £3. So I always, even off media mail, I still make money off shipping because I always go.
Medium mail gets me every time. I had set everything to $4 for my VHS,
Well,
and
media
then
mail's gone up. Like I think
I know it went up on me. I was
the
like,
lowest it
God,
ever gets is
great.
like four something now. So
It's like 463 for the
yeah,
lowest one.
yep. And now a lot of
But I've been
time,
selling a lot of DVDs that are sealed. I ended up buying off an auction like 400 DVDs. They're all sealed.
mhm.
They're worth like $4 to $12 a piece. I ended up raising that up to $5 minimum shipping and make a couple cents there. DVDs sell all right. It's a quick list because they have barcodes on them. So
Yeah,
So let
I
me
got to get away from that. That's my problem. My problem. If you watch the show, I'm sure you have, and you comment, so I know you do. If it's $1 or less, Jeff is all excited
he's
about it.
buying
So
it. It doesn't matter.
that's why I have so much stuff.
It could be a
So if
crystallized
it's less than a
turd.
dollar and
you
I
haven't
scan it,
you haven't
make five
set
bucks on
so
it. Go ahead.
you haven't set like a minimum of what it needs to sell for you to buy it because I'm not going to waste
No,
my time if it doesn't sell for $15. I'm not buying it. But
and that's where I.
that took me a while to get there. I
Yeah,
still like sometimes if I really like the item, I will buy it still. But I try to do $15, $20 that at least sells for. It's really not worth our time to list a $5 item. The cost to ship it out, our time to ship it out, our time to list it. It's not worth $5. We're worth more than that. Our time
yeah,
is. So I would suggest if you want to go full time to setting a minimum and sticking, try to stick to that.
yeah. And
Obviously,
that's
as at least I'm a collector, if something's really cool and I want to buy it and hold on to it for a little bit and then pass it on to another collector, I'll drop my minimum down. So that's something that took over time to try to work on to raise my minimum up.
Like,
yeah. That's why I said I need 5 more years because I got to sell through all the stuff I bought that was $1. That's worth
You
five
need to get
dollars.
your $2.
Yeah, I
and
gotta move it up.
he really does. If it's $1, he doesn't care what it is. If it's $1, it can have a negative sell through rate, and he will buy it if it's $1. As long as it's $5 or $10, he'll buy it.
Although
Where
I bought those Christmas the little leg lamp
Yeah,
yeah,
Christmas story.
bobbleheads. So I was at the Big Lots and they were 90% off, so it ended up being like 79 cents.
Yeah,
They sat in the garage for a year, and then I finally showed them on Pick and Pass, and then I listed them. I sold every one of them for $7.95 in 2 weeks. All three of
dang,
them
I
sold.
was going to
Boom,
buy
boom,
one of
boom.
them.
Yeah, no, they're gone. I sold them all. Like I finally started. That's the thing that's really exciting. What I'm doing now is I'm listing all this stuff because I have to. I'm still listing stuff that's 5, 10, $12,
yeah.
and it's all good. I got a bunch of stuff I listed this week that probably most resellers wouldn't have listed because it was some of the I listed like 200 sockets because I had a bunch of sockets. But the other thing that was cool about them is they were like, I have 22 of them or whatever. So they might only sell for $4, but
And I'm
you
trying
want
to
listing
tell
sells
you,
22.
I keep trying to tell him, as a former mechanic, a former technician, the best and most expensive way or the best way he can make money on sockets is to take four different sizes of 10 millimeter, sell it together in a lot for $50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
only had
will,
a fixed 10 millimeter, so I had a bunch of random stuff.
because they're gone. They will
Yeah.
disappear. But anyway, so that's awesome. Now, one of the other segments we like to do on here that we've added over time is our favorite seller of the week. Our
Buyer.
favorite buyer of the week. And we don't give out anything but the tag name. So if you've got a buyer that you really like who buys on eBay, now again, just the tag name, not really full name, not address, but just their
The address.
eBay ID. We don't want anybody visible going here, buy this. But do you have a favorite seller, or I keep saying seller, favorite buyer of the week?
I usually don't even pay attention to that. I would say the guy that bought a VHS for $75 would be my favorite
Yeah,
at this
he's your favorite.
point. I don't know his name or his
Whoever's.
ID, but whoever wants to spend $75 on a VHS tape he's my favorite this week for sure.
Who's your favorite this week, Benz?
Two people this week that really I think were great. I sold the hat and the buckle on the back came off. And the guy reached out to me and was asking me, "Hey, do you have another hat?" I didn't have another hat. And I gave him a refund because you know what? The brass buckle just fell off and there was nothing I could do about it. But he still left me positive feedback and said how great the item was. So that was pretty cool.
I was gonna say my favorite
Uh,
buyer would be the person that didn't message me at all.
yeah. And then I had another one. The other one is I got to take my glasses off so I can read. VEROARZOLO
That's me.
dash O. Yeah, Verelozo. I don't know how to say it, but I sent him some. He bought tarot cards that I had.
Hmm.
I shipped them to him, and then they got lost in the mail. They went from here to Michigan. He lives in Miami, so he's 4 hours away. So they went from here to Michigan, and then ended up in Wisconsin. And it
What the
took
heck?
him like I don't know a week and a half to get something that should have took 2 days.
Yeah.
But he left me great feedback. He says cards came exactly as expected and within the estimated delivery date. That's not true, but I'm not sure why he put that. But I had communicated with him the whole time. I figured out when it was back in his area, and I told him, "Hey, it should be here today." And he said, "Oh, I got it." And we had a great conversation back and forth. So he's all excited because the images on the cards were crisp and vibrant, which is going to be great when I use them for my tarot studies. A lot of my witchcraft books recommend studying the Rider Waite card before studying other card decks because they're the ones that are true. Thanks for the cards. So it's
Yeah, I
great.
was,
The guy is studying witchcraft and he bought something from me, and
My
that's super
my
exciting to me.
favorite buyers are the people that bought the Bible and prayed for the guy doing his witchcraft over there,
yeah,
and
Yeah,
he didn't curse
yeah,
Ben's with
exactly.
selling that stuff.
yeah. I'm with
I'm like,
Alex
oh
on that.
my.
I would not buy, but again, Ben's if it's under $1, he will buy it. I am with Alex. Whoa, dude! But
But the tarot cards sold, and he really loved them because they were the perfect ones if you're studying witchcraft.
See, I
Yeah.
passed on the Jenga. What is it? Not Jenga, but what's the one with the little
Yeah.
thing that moves around?
Yeah.
That's
the
worth money, and I
we
found one at the
Starts with an
camp.
L.
Ouija
Ouija board.
board.
Ouija board.
I didn't
Yeah,
buy it though. I wasn't bringing it in my house. It was worth money, but I left it behind. Even it would only been $1 too. I could have sold it to you for $2.
it's
You
just
would
something
sell it.
to just don't buy.
If it was $1, I'd buy it. I'd bring it home, play with it a little bit, try to talk to my grandmother.
I'll show something right now
Everybody's
that
got their thing.
most people, if you're a
Hold
Christian,
on.
this is like, and Alex, you're going to recognize this right off, but most people would not buy this Bible at all. But I bought it because I'm like, it's going to sell. I know it is, and that's a Bible with that symbol on it.
Yeah, multiples of those actually listed.
Yeah, I figured, yeah, that'll move. Most Christians be like, oh gosh, you ruined that Bible with that. But I,
Well, that's like a Bible niched down with something strange, right? People are, even if they're not want to read it
Yeah.
for the Bible itself, they're gonna, if they collect weird things, that's occult things that kind of falls into that category.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna.
Well,
Oh,
Gilly,
oh
get
no!
my favorite buyer of the week.
Oh, I left.
Honestly,
You're still here. Yeah, you're still here.
I clicked off and the camera went off for a second.
That's all
uh,
right. I see
favorite
it.
my favorite buyer of the week it actually comes in from last week, so I maybe pushing the rules there a little bit, but it's another one of those shipping things like what I don't know what is going on with USPS these days, but this particular guy he's in British Columbia, Canada, and of course for some reason and I'm going to give it his thing here. It is JAWIN 6207. Been in communications with him because for some reason eBay wanted it shipped to New York, and so now it's landing in New York and it's making its way across Canada, which is crazy because it should have just gone to like Seattle and
Yeah,
then up in because he's in British Columbia. But he's so excited to get it, and he's told me all about it. And he and I got a connection anyway because I went and stayed where he lives for a little while, a vacation there, knew a lot about the town where he's at, and we talked. And just a great buyer, paid like that, which is buyers you want. But I did send him a message proactively, thinking, "Oh my gosh, but I wanted to be proactive again, like Mike told us to." And his thing's going up through New York and crossing over. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, if he's expecting this in a week, it's not going to get there." And he's still not got it. Not
it's
as bad
taking
as a lady who bought something in the UK a few months back that it took literally, what was it, 12 weeks for her to get her leggings. Oh my gosh, bless her heart. For a $6 pair of leggings, it took 12 weeks.
taking the scenic route.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we like to talk about our favorite buyers. So if you end up with a guy, J Win, where's it at? Let me scroll right down. J Win 6207 as one of your bidders or whatever, or buying something from you, just know it's a great guy and really nice guy. And if you communicate, again, communication is key, folks. Communication. Head off some of this stuff. If it's going to be a long shipping, head it off quick. You'll run a better risk of getting positive feedback. So
Yeah, I have the same issue right now. I shipped something the 17th, and it said it was scanned in, but it's never left the Nashville post office.
That's
So
crazy.
I
it will
don't.
pop up later on. I was worried about the one. Benz will tell you. I was like, I brought it up. I was like, I'm so worried about this. So,
Yeah, I don't know if I should just message the buyer and say, "Hey, I dropped it off. They just haven't scanned it in yet. I'm not sure what's going on." I'm a little worried because it's a 23 item. Those can break open because they're pretty heavy. So
when did you
hopefully-
ship it?
the 17th, I think it was the 17th. Yeah,
How far away was it going from Tennessee? Because
I don't
we
remember where it was going.
we have discovered that sometimes they don't scan them at the post office, or they don't do their job. And
Yeah,
finally, when it reaches a distribution center somewhere else, finally
yeah.
somebody decides to do their job.
So I usually drop my stuff off just in the drop off bin, but I handed that one to them because I didn't want them to set it on top of my fragile items. And
Mm.
they dropped it. I watched them drop in the back, so they did not scan it at all. So it's probably not going to get scanned in like you're saying until it hits another distributor center and pick up the tracking numbers. I got to
Yeah,
keep up on that and check in the midweek and message them and go in the post office and ask them what the heck's going on with that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would do that, and I probably would message the buyer and be like, and give them the. Did you get any type of receipt? Because I do a lot of times do the electronic scanning.
Yeah, I just dropped it off. I do not wait in line. I mean, I have tons of packages every day, so I don't really wait in line. If it's like a really high end, like $200 thing, I will get a receipt for that one item and drop
Yeah.
everything else off.
That's where I've gotten to. Anything under $10, if it's under $10, I just there you go because I figure I can
Yeah,
refund the money pretty easy.
yeah, it is a $65 item though. I think it was $65 plus shipping. It was like 100 and something. So I should have got a
Wow.
receipt for it. Time is money though in this
It
I
is.
business
agree.
too.
It
So
is.
Yeah, I don't wait in line anymore. I do the same thing. Throw it in the bin, and move on.
What's our next? Where are we moving to next?
I like that segment though. On my podcast, the reseller locker room, we have the most annoying whatever. You guys are all
Yeah.
positive and loving over
Yeah, we
here.
try to be positive. I
Right.
like, formerly known as the Pocket Change podcast. I listen to them.
Hmm.
They're the leftover resellers. I
Yeah.
really enjoy their podcast. But they do a segment every week on returns. It makes no sense. Do
Hmm.
you have returns every week,
No.
even as a full time reseller?
No.
They do. They have returns
I,
every week.
I'm a knock
And
on
I'm like,
plywood. Rarely I get returns.
yeah, knock on wood.
Probably 3 to 5 I've gotten.
Yeah. I
And
don't understand how they returns every week, but anyway, it's always fun to listen to because there's always some shenanigans that happen. So we're not going to add the returns of the week because
No,
we're hoping not to get returns. That doesn't even seem like a good positive thing to put on there.
it's not something to put
Uh,
out into the karma world, whatever you want to call it. Let's don't wish for returns. Let's don't even
exactly.
discuss it.
And we are doing the buyer of the week, but then I think last week yeah, this son of a gun. He came up. I'm like, that's the opposite of what we're trying to do. Just because someone frustrated you, we got to be positive.
the locker room would be like, who I blocked this week on eBay.
But that wasn't. But in my defense, that wasn't a buyer of the week. That was something where I bought on, and it's funny. I don't
Are
like.
you still dealing with that?
I finally got the item. After 4 days of working with the guy to get it paid. He finally relisted it, and I went in and paid it. But then the second package he sent showed up.
I wouldn't worry about it.
I'm
That's
not,
on him.
because here's the thing: the post office wants $4.62 from me for me to go get it. So his free shipping junk was going to cost me $4.62. No, I'm out. They can ship it back. I'm not doing
Yeah, charge him
Yeah, they can ship it back, and if he wants to go pick up his product from his post office, he can pay the money.
$4 for that. Yeah.
But anyway,
We also do. What'd you learn this week? Talking about myself, I learned. Hey, you know what? Listing 100 a day is possible, but it's not worth your time. Don't freaking do it. I don't think that 100 a day makes you sell more than 25 a day. So,
Hmm.
excuse me. That's my goal now is 25 a day. And if I can list more, I'm going to just save them as for schedule them for the next day and then get myself out. My goal is to get myself out the 3 weeks because you can have 3 weeks worth of schedule.
Yeah.
Get out there 3 weeks and then go back and add more to the day.
see, I disagree. I
Oh,
disagree with.
I agree.
I disagree, and I'll say this in front of Alex. Here's why I disagree. I have been doing mathematical computations. Y'all know how I am with my math. Sometimes I'm on, sometimes I'm off, but I've been doing them based on his listing, how many he's listing per week, and it has been interesting to see how much you can figure based on his average sale rate and his average cost that he's making, or average profit per good, how much he's predicted to make for the week. And so far, I've been pretty well on based on his listing. So I disagree with the 100 doesn't help, because it really does. It just causes you to sell more. So I do think it has helped.
I
That's
don't say it
me.
hasn't helped, but I don't think it keeps you in the algorithm more than doing 20 or 25.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It was just
You
more
might
items
sell
to
more
sell.
because you
Yeah.
listed
That.
something that sells right away. But
Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. If I forget to list for a couple days, I'll hit it hard and do 10 to 20. And then I've
yeah,
noticed I can slowly go down to 5 a day, and it still keeps the algorithm happy, and I'm still selling consistent items. But I know you guys talked about it
yeah,
on the show before. It takes you 2 days to bounce back
yeah,
after not listing.
at all. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, definitely. You need to feed the monster because if you don't list, man,
Hmm.
it quickly pushes you out.
Yep.
So my test this week will be I'm going to take everything and promote it at 10%, the whole freaking store, and see if I sell more this week. So I do 3 to 5% is what I usually promote at. I'm going to try because a lot of this, I just want to see if I can sell more. So I'm going to take everything in the store after the show. I'm going to change it to 10% promotion, see if it makes a difference.
Whew.
Is that sealed VHSs above your head there?
It is.
Are those
Yeah,
like
let's just see. I
graded
want to send this one in to get
Forrest
graded.
Gump or what?
This is my
What's going
favorite
on here?
movie, Screwed. If you haven't seen that movie, you should watch that movie.
Okay. Are those in hard
But
cases though? Some of them look like
yeah,
they're in case.
they're all Forrest Gump, not Forrest Gump. They're all Tom Hanks. He's my favorite actor. So I got Apollo 13. You've got Mail
Hmm.
and Forrest Gump, and they're all graded. I was getting into
Okay.
graded.
Okay. So let's say, how much is Forrest Gump sealed usually worth? And if you get it graded, would this, if this was graded and it got a good grade, would it actually increase the price that it
I
sold
don't
for?
know. I think it's up and down. I think it was getting to be more of a thing, but I bought all these off of eBay
Hmm.
because no one was buying them. So I bought all three at the same time. I ended up paying like $20 a piece for them just to grade them at the time. And I think IGS, I think that's the grading company has stopped, but the grade was $50 a piece. So I'm like, so I can buy these for $20.
So you got
And
seventy
if I had
dollars.
one, I wanted to say I could grade it, it would cost me $50. So that's why I bought them.
And so you have
So
$70 wrapped up in each one now. What is it going to
yeah,
sell
yeah.
for? What will that Forrest Gump at a 7.5 even sell for?
No, I bought it graded.
Oh, you bought it
I didn't
graded.
send it off.
Oh,
I
okay.
bought
You
it
bought
graded for
it.
$20.
You
That's
bought
why I
it
bought them.
graded. Oh, okay. You bought it
Yeah.
graded. I thought you paid
I know I
20 and
have
then
a
you sent it to another 50 on top of that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So no, I bought them for $20 and just to have it graded cost 50. So I bought it for $30 less than they paid to grade it. So
So the person
I
that
like
graded
that.
it
And then
lost out
I
on
got
that
the
then.
Hmm.
Army of Darkness
That's
sealed.
cool. That's very cool.
I'm with Alex. How much is that worth?
It was only apparently worth
I
20
don't think they're
bucks.
worth a whole lot.
So the person
I've
like
come across.
lost money by grading it.
I did, but I think if I took the three of them, I have $60 in them. I think if I put them together in a lot, I probably could make more than that off of them. But they did so eBay. If something isn't very something that's unusual, they were on auctions. So I bought them on auctions,
Hmm.
and I still bid on stuff on auctions. But on that week, just nobody bid, so I got lucky.
Hmm.
And then I got out of it. So I haven't I don't know what a Forrest
I'm,
Gump graded is worth.
I'm looking it up. I got to know.
All right. It's not the best. It's only 7.5, but I paid $20.
While he's looking that up, what did I learn on eBay this week? I don't know. I learned that I need to list more. I really do. I've been listing, trying to build mine up, and I've been listing. I started out going 8, now I'm going to 10, and trying to list. But I think what I've discovered is the weekends are killing me because I don't list on Saturday night. And so my beginning of the week, and I tested the theory and I've done it now. So I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You need to list. And if you're not going to be able to list on Saturday night, like I generally can't, you need to have it programmed to do it for you. So list extra on through the week to pad Saturday because the week that I did, going into the best week, I listed Saturday and Sunday and I had the best week. And then the 2 weeks that I've not listed on Saturday night for Sunday, I it's taken a while to ramp the week back up, so I'm selling less items. So I'm gonna go to trying to program it so that it's still listing because I just run out of time on Saturdays. I do trying to get everything done for Sunday and what's going on in my life. I run out of time, so I'm gonna try to build that up so that there is stuff that's still gonna hit. I have not learned much difference between like Alex was saying. So I went from listing 8 a day to making sure I'm getting to the 10 a day because I'm trying to increase and hit that 620, and that's not really made that much difference. So I think 8 a day would be fine to continue doing that as you build up, making sure that you're hitting that. It's not made that much difference. Now I think if I went to doing 25 or 30 or even 50, yeah, I think my sales would go astronomically higher. But time is of the essence. As I promised you, ladies and gentlemen, this wall here, which you can't see, is gone. I can stick my hand all the way over here now, and I'll disappear out of the camera. It is gone now, so I spent time Saturday getting that knocked down. So my eBay office is on its way. I will show you once it's done because right now it looks like an absolute tornado hit it. But there is major remodeling going on, so I can finally have my eBay office, and my wife doesn't have to worry about it or think that her workout room looks like a five and dime pawn shop, as she called it. So
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of, instead of putting a set amount to list like 10 a day, that you put a number amount? Say you want to sell $500 a day, you list $500 a day.
that's not a bad idea either.
So you could list one $500 item, or however long it takes you to get to whatever goal you set, like $300 to $500.
That's a good idea. I don't know if I have the items to do that with. I'm still in the five and dime store model.
And you are very part time. You just that's the goal.
One
So
already one full time job, one part time job, and then I throw in eBay reselling on it too. It's a lot, but a lot of times I'm like you, Alex. I'm listing after everybody goes to bed,
Mhm.
and then getting up at six to 7 o'clock and do it all over again the next day with going to the corporate world. And so I'm trying to do eBay reselling to get to where I can slow down some. That would be awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. His goal is to be a full time reseller, and I think he'll make it. Might take another year, but you get yourself enough inventory out there, and then.
I think it'll take 2 years, 2 more years.
All right. So, any
Well,
final thoughts from anybody?
well,
We've not done news.
are we still in a segment of what we learned on eBay, or is it what we
Oh,
learned?
yeah. What'd you learn?
Well,
Sorry,
first,
I jumped past you.
what I learned on YouTube. I'm going to start there. Is there's positive reselling podcasts, and then what I learned on eBay is if you have a graded Forrest Gump at an 8.5, it will sell for $65.
Right. Mine's only
So there you go.
7.5, but yeah,
Yeah, that was
I'm in.
actually that was a one bid too. It was just an
Yeah,
auction.
Wow.
Oh, 8.5 sold for 122 with 20 bids. So
nice. I'm gonna keep those. I got a labyrinth with
oh,
that's
that's
still
cool.
sealed
Yeah.
that I have put up. That at some point I'm probably gonna send. I was gonna send them to IGS, but then I went in and they're not doing it anymore. So I think I have to send it to PSA. I've got a couple different ones I want to send in to be graded, just so I can keep them. I sell a lot of VHS, not graded, but just I buy them every time I see them. I buy them.
Hmm.
I probably have 100 listed now, and there's ones that I've gotten that I've just been holding on to. I'm gonna get them graded, and then eventually, when I make the room a little, I make myself a studio at some point. I'll have them behind me. All
Cool.
Well,
right, final thoughts.
Benz, you learned this week that you can't use your dining room for the wife.
Yeah, I learned this week that you know what you can. My wife is you can't take over the whole house, right? The garage is completely full. This room is a disaster. And then I was listening in the formal dining room, which we don't use, so why not? And then she came on Thursdays. Hey, this is just like a 1 week thing, right? You're not going to leave stuff sitting around the dining room all the time. We don't even go in here, so
It was
it was
probably her idea that you should list 100 items a day to get rid of the stuff out of the
No,
rest of
that
the
was
house.
yeah.
me.
She thinks I'm crazy. I don't understand why you're doing this. We started this. It's CJ Ben's Finds. My name's Jefferson. My wife's name's Christy. And
Okay.
she was into it for I don't know, like 32
30
days.
days.
And then yeah. But she still does she does the feedback and all that kind of stuff. So she helps. I try to teach her how to list. I'm not digging this. I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's fine.
That's probably the hard part of our job is as the actual listing. Because shipping, you just put it in a box, and there's more to it than that, ladies and gentlemen. Go watch some shipping videos because you need to know how to pad things up properly. But I would say listing is the biggest nightmare, especially if you can't find one very similar to be able to use the format. And, yeah, a lot of the stuff that I've listed, I'm like, now I've just got to use and fill in all the information. It can get very tedious. As I think Alex, you talked about that earlier, that it can get pretty tedious on that.
Yo, listing, yeah. I'll do 10, 20, and I'm over it. I got to move on to something else. So
Yeah.
if you're full time, then you can list 10 and then go and ship some items or clean up your store, whatever it is. And you can go back to it. You have that freedom to go back to it later too. So it's your job. So you don't have to do it all in one sitting if you don't want to.
Now,
Yeah.
I have a quick question for you, and I know we're wrapping up here, but Alex, do you use your phone or do you have a camera set up, or what's your.
I make all my drafts on my phone. I take all the pictures and then I save draft and then I go do the final details on my laptop,
Okay.
like the promoted stuff and the store category that it's going to go into. Since I'm niching down, I've slowly put categories for all my books. So when a customer comes in, they can go straight to fantasy books or school books So it's all another benefit of being niche down is you'll grow a following because they know that's all you're listing. So you'll get more repeat buyers by being a niche down store. That's another
That's
good
cool.
good benefit to this too.
How many followers
Yeah.
do you currently have?
Right now, I only have 120, which we had Mike on our show, our podcast last, and he talked about his customer service. He has like 1,000 followers because his customer service is so good. I'm like, okay, so I need to step up mine and be more,
Mm,
have more communication because it's obviously helping get people to follow him. So I've been sending,
Yeah.
if someone leaves me a review or I send off coupons for everyone to buy something, I send a 10%.
Uh,
And I started listing in that 10%. I said, we list new items daily. So please consider following our store. And since I've done that, and I just started that yesterday, I've gained 3 more followers
Nice.
just from doing that little thing. So thank you to Mike because he made all us full time resellers look very lazy. Mike's sending them birthday cards and chocolates and all sorts of
Yeah.
things when they buy things. It's crazy.
Got a
yeah,
thousand followers. That's good.
but he does have 1,000. That's been my thing. Is I'm like, I got to get my followers built up as I if because if
Yeah.
I'm niching down, I really need repeat buyers.
It,
And
I don't know if you're on social media. Social media can help you get that too. If you have a social media just for your reselling account in your store, like I have a personal Beard King that's my YouTube and reselling shenanigans, and then I
Hmm.
have just a book site that I put books up there. Everything is listed. I'll put a link to the eBay store and say these items just listed
that's a good idea.
today, so people can see those. So I'm trying to build up an Instagram following, so eventually I could just move off of all selling platforms, have my own platform, my own following
Yeah.
without the
That'd be cool.
fees.
That's a good idea too. And that's why we do these, and that's why it's good to interact because you. It is about building that community, but it's also about helping one another and
Mm.
doing learning ideas because at the end of the day we're not really being competitors, we're in the same arena but we sell different things. Like I don't sell books, I don't know
Mm.
anything about books, I've shied away from books because I'm afraid of getting burned on them. And now Ben's again, he'll buy anything for $1. He's like Daryl, anything for $1. But I got burned in one item and I don't want to get burned again. So I think it's good that we help each other with ideas. And Mike is right. Mike got on to me about the whole because I was doing it and then I got away from it. And now I'm getting back to it. And it's interesting. My followers have gone up since I've gotten back to it. Communications up.
Mm.
I really want that badge that says top seller. So I'm working to try to get to that. And you got to get feedback to get to that. But that's
Well,
awesome.
good.
What an awesome podcast or vlog
Yes.
or
Hey,
however
man.
you're
Thank
listening.
you for coming.
Oh,
It was
thank you.
great having you.
Thank you for
Hopefully, you
having me.
enjoyed it as much as we did.
Yeah,
So,
it was great. Yeah, that would be my final thought. Is thanking you guys for having me on. Also, anyone watching this, you can go find me on Beard King Picker on all social medias, and also every Thursday the Reseller Locker Room podcast.
Sweet.
all
Yeah.
right. Thank you guys for stopping by. Hopefully, you enjoyed it as much as we
Nice
did.
meeting you, Alex.
Uh,